Hey, welcome everybody. It's the Wednesday edition of the UGAsports.com Quick Take. I am your host, Jason Butt. And hey, one day before Thanksgiving, just was that 3 days before hate week game, or the clean old fashioned hate, if you want to call it, between Georgia and Georgia Tech. So yeah, as we do every Wednesday, we do the Wednesday wager, and we just go through this point spread and then the over under for Georgia. And then this week we got a pretty sizable point spread. We haven't had one of these in quite some time. Georgia is favored by 35 and a half points. That is a pretty remarkable line just because when you have Power 5 programs playing each other, and especially one that is 5-6 trying to become bowl eligible, you don't typically see them as 35 and a half point underdogs. And I mean, in the 20s, that's what I think Florida was like 22 and a half. Tennessee obviously was one of the lighter ones, I think, at 8.5. So recent games would indicate, that Georgia's able to beat teams in that 15 to 25 range or whatever. But yeah, so 35 and a half. I'm trying to remember. Vanderbilt was probably the closest, and I don't even think Vanderbilt was as this big of a line. And I think a few things are at play, and notably recent history. So Georgia Tech obviously has been playing better. They just came off a win over number 13 North Carolina, then number 13, obviously not now anymore. But recent history, I think in this rivalry, Georgia's won the last four. Last year they won 45-0. The year before that it was 52-7. The year before that 45-21, and then in 17 it was 38-7. So you have 17 and 18. You're within the 35 and a half, but then obviously the last two years, and there was no game in 2020. I should clarify. That's 2019 and 2021. Those two games, Georgia easily would have covered such a margin. So I think the talent gap is really what is speaking to this sizable point spread. Now, I am not excited. I think when you get to 35 and a half, that is a line that, you're talking about 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns plus a field goal, plus a point. So that's a tough line. But so here's the thing, though. The over-under is at 49. And so you're telling me that Georgia's going to cover by 36, but the game could potentially be under 49 points. So that gives Tech 13 points max to push in this 36-13 scenario. I don't see it. And my money, again, like last week, I think my money would go on the under. Surprisingly, I don't know if Georgia is going to. I think Tech's defense is better than it has been the last couple of years. I don't think Tech scores, especially they ran a third-string quarterback this past week, and the fact that they beat North Carolina is remarkable. But North Carolina clearly isn't as good of a team. I think Tech kind of caught lightning in a bottle there. This game is in Athens, also not Atlanta. So, granted, the Georgia Tech game is typically a neutral site for these games. When it is in Atlanta and Georgia, it will be very hostile for the Yellow Jackets. I'm probably not gonna bet 35 and a half. That's just not. I don't know. I mean, I think given last week, it is at home though, so I wouldn't advise against it. I just don't think that's not going to be me personally. But I am going to bet the under. And again, it's one of those things where when Vegas sets a line at an over-under at 49 or something that you're thinking, wow, that's a little low, typically there's a reason. They're trying to bait you for the over. And Georgia, with its recent history, 45-0, 52-7, coming off a 16-6 victory over Kentucky. So you would, in that respect, you think, okay, well, they're due for a bounce-back game. I just don't think Georgia Tech's going to be able to score. I think this could be another shutout, another 3-point to 6-point game for Georgia Tech. And then it just depends on, is Georgia going to run it up? And I think you're going to see a lot of running. It's possible. I mean, this is a Georgia team that that when it is on, it can put up some huge numbers. But I think Georgia Tech's defense is good enough to avoid a 42-0 first half. So I'm going to go with the under. I think this game's probably going to be in the 38-3, 38-0 range, and so I am. That is where my money is going to be on this Wednesday wager. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't, mash that like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go to the UGAsports.com dog vent, the best community for UGA sports on the World Wide Web. And again, I just want to thank you for being awesome. And I've been Jason Butt. Y'all take care.